Hello, and welcome to video 3 of 8, entitled From Pioneer to Rugby to Muddy Pond, August 31st, 2019. We're on Highway 52 going west. There's 2 exits to Rugby off of this highway, and we'll take the second exit. There's a bed and breakfast up there that I want to show you, which is beautiful. So as we go in on the second exit to Rugby, that'll be one of the first things that we'll look at as I travel down their driveway to the bed and breakfast. Rugby is a unique community, and as I said in some of the other videos previous to this one, what I'm doing is mainly giving you a visual rather than providing links to any of the area that we're going to travel through. There's such a wealth of information on the internet. You can do a simple search of Rugby or Muddy Pond and get all the information that you care to read that will coincide with the visuals of my videos. But Rugby is a unique place, and it has a unique history. It has a sad history. It's unique, one of the most unique places in this area of Tennessee. And the history goes back to England. And that's about all I'm going to say. But maybe I have piqued your interest enough that you will Google Rugby and get the information. It's worth the effort to go out and read some of the history of Rugby. Rugby has an aura about the place. Just about any place you go in the world, some of the places that you go in foreign countries, I call it vibes or aura. For whatever the reason, Rugby is one of those places. It has a unique feel about it. It's quaint, and it's pretty, and it's probably because of the history of Rugby. If you don't know the history of Rugby, you probably wouldn't have that feeling. But knowing what I know, this is the first exit off of 52 that goes to Rugby, and we're going to go up to the next exit and enter Rugby from that vantage point because of the bed and breakfast that I want to show you. This is video 3 of 8. There's 8 videos in this series. It's a beautiful day. We've had so much rain. The foliage is so thick. We go down some of the streets in Rugby, but most of the houses are built back in the forest, and some of them that they reconditioned, most of them they left the trees. So this time of the year, when the foliage is so thick, it's difficult to see some of the structures. If you come over here during the fall of the year, especially after the trees have shed their leaves, you can see some of these houses. Some of the structures are visible. The reason I pulled over here, that little driveway there, I was going to turn there because I had forgotten if there really was another entrance, and Pat and I were having a discussion about it because the last time we were over here, we had gone down there where the bed and breakfast is at. But I stopped at a little church parking lot and set my GoPro up to record, and when I got back to the house, I only had about a minute and a half video. So for whatever the reason, I didn't get the video. So today, when I came back, I wanted to pick up where I had left off. I have one other video somewhere. I have so many. I must have 700 or 800 videos. And I have a video that I did a long time ago in Rugby. I think I did it during that little church on the left. That's where I set my GoPro up, and it, for whatever reason, it quit recording after a minute and a half. But I do have a video on one of my accounts. It's either on Nothing But History or OCKTEBY of Rugby that I did a long time ago. And I believe I did that before I purchased this GoPro. But if you want to go in there and search for it, that little place on the left-hand side looked like a flea market, but I think that's a little market. I'm pausing because I'm not really sure about that. It looks like a market, but in this day and time, it's almost impossible for a mom and pop market to flourish. We're going to go to the right and go down this gravel lane, and I'll show you the bed and breakfast. You can read those signs. If you stop the video, you can read those entrance signs. You see a lot of wooden fences like that one to the right. This one looks brand new. Some of them look like they've been around for a while, but they all use the same type of construction. But you can see how pretty this is. This would be a great place to come and spend a weekend with you and your wife. Pat and I, we've never stayed at this bed and breakfast. We usually do day trips. This is a day trip. We left early in the morning and we were back home by 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So if you live in and around La Follette, Jacksboro, or anywhere in that area, this is a good day trip. You can come up here and visit these locations, Muddy Pond, Rugby, and be back home before dark. And that's a bed and breakfast. It's pretty. a clear day you can see forever. And this is one of those clear days. Beautiful. Look how groomed this area is. That bed and breakfast spells class to me. I wouldn't mind to spend a weekend there. We'll go out here and turn right on Old 52. We're in Rugby. This is part of Rugby. This is video 3 of 8, and I'll take you down some of the streets of Rugby, and then on video 4 of 8, I will continue to show you parts of Rugby, and then on 5 of 8 is the video where the Corvette Automobile Club came in from Crossville with some absolutely beautiful Corvettes. And we had no idea that they were coming to Rugby today. Pat was in one of the shops, and the shopkeeper said, well, there comes the car club that was supposed to be here today. So evidently they had made reservations at the restaurant. And that restaurant has a British flag, which is normal because Rugby is considered an English village. And when you study the history, you'll understand why. I'll come back over here in the wintertime when all the leaves are gone, and that way you can see some of the houses. This is a unique little place, and as I said somewhere in one of my videos, there's a certain vibe or aura about this place, and you feel it. But not only here. I have felt that way in other parts of the world. More so here than any place that I've ever been in the United States. And it's, I guess if you didn't know the history of the place, you wouldn't think that much about it, but I've read quite a bit about Rugby, and it's kind of made me think about the uniqueness and the tragedy. I guess it's the tragedy that occurred in this area. When you consider a group of people who came here and tried to make a life for themselves, you can start to see some of the structures. And I'm sure that's why it has an aura if you know the history. This house to the left, I think that's a brand new house. I think one time when we were over here, they were building the house, constructing the house, and some of these, I think that place to the right is one of the originals. Anymore, you really don't know, because when people started to construct homes in this area, I'm sure they tried to keep a decor that would be suitable for Rugby. Now, all of that's just speculation. we're going to turn in here. This old schoolhouse or church, I think it's a schoolhouse, and I think it's now a library. You can read some of these signs. If you'll stop this video, you can get a lot of information that I'm not giving you by reading the signs. I think they turned that into a library. And back when 52 came through here, you can see why it was so treacherous. People trying to get from here across the street to the church with truck traffic coming through here. You can see some people walking up the walkway from the church. It's hard to see I'm almost wishing that the leaves weren't there, but you can see it enough to know that it's unique and beautiful. Most of the streets are like this. They're not paved, probably purposely not paved. Now that's speculative. This video, 3 of 4, is getting ready to end. And then on video 4 of 8, I will continue to drive down some of the streets of Rugby. But you're not going to be able to see a lot of the homes in this area because they all set back in the woods. You can see the top of the tree, or the top of the house behind those trees. This video is going to end. Stay tuned for 4-4. Bye-bye.